Good morning. This is John from the Springs Mennonite Church, and I'm here today at the end of a week to share the good news about what God has told us to do. And as I said at the beginning, it's not the things we don't understand that give us the most problems. It's the things that are simple, that are easy to understand, that makes it difficult for us to walk with God. Now, I'm not sure why that is, other than maybe deep down inside, we really do think we know better. Maybe it's because we're human and we have human emotions and human needs and feel human pain. I don't know. But one thing's for sure, if we do what God tells us to do, we're okay. I have an older guy in the church that we laugh every morning. Sunday, I'll say, "Are you okay?" And he'll say, "I'm okay. Are you okay?" And it just kind of is a joke. But when we walk with God, we can say, "I'm okay." So let's hear what we find in John's Gospel, chapter 15 and verse 12. Jesus says, "This is my commandment. Love each other in the same way I have loved you." Well, let's take a look at this thing. Jesus says it's his commandment. That's a pretty strong word. Kind of reminds me of the military command that's given by a superior officer, and you better follow it. Well, Jesus has given a command. And I'll be so bold as to suggest and say, you better follow it. Now, I know in your life you may not be following the Lord as closely as you can, or maybe as close as you want. And I hope that your desire to find him in a new and a fresh way will take precedent over everything else. But I can tell you one way to make that happen. It's right here. This is my commandment. Love each other in the same way that I have loved you. Now, notice here, Jesus says, each other. Who's he excluding? Yeah, that's right. Nobody. And you might say, does that mean I have to love that so-and-so down at the end of the block, or that guy at work that just drives me nuts? Yep, that's what it means. To love someone else means to want the best for them. Now, in our world today, there are a lot of people that don't want the best for someone else. In fact, they want something a whole lot less than the best. In our political world, we hear nothing, almost nothing, but words of hate and words of condemnation and blame and name calling. And many of that's happening by people who claim to be Christians. Now, I don't know their inner heart, but I can tell you this: what comes out of their mouth isn't Christian. When something other than love is demonstrated by your words, your actions, your life, that's not following Jesus. Now, I know some people think they can follow Jesus a little bit and the rest will be okay. I'll show up in church every once in a while. Hey, I'll do my part. But that's not what God wants. Because he says to love each other the same way that he loved you. Or that he says that I have loved you. How did Jesus love you? Well, I don't know. I wasn't there. It's 2,000 years ago. That's true. I wasn't there. And it was 2,000 years ago. more or less. But what he did was give his life for everyone who was there and for everyone who was yet to come. He loved you and me so much that he agreed to die. Now, you're probably not going to be called to do that. All you're going to be asked to do is love that guy down the block who is a real pain in the you know what. But when we seek to be like Jesus, we have to do what he says. It's one thing to say, oh, I believe. It's another thing to let your life be an example of what you believe. And I'm just going to be blunt here. I don't know who's watching, and you can turn me off at any point in time, and I won't even know it. But I'm going to be real blunt here, and I'm going to say that for those people who speak words of hate and demonstrate lives of anger, they're not following Jesus. I don't care what they say. And if I'm talking about you, then do everybody a favor. Please change. Jesus died even for the worst of us. Think about that person that you can't stand the most, the one who irritates you so much your blood pressure goes up. Jesus died for him too, in the hopes that one day he'll turn his life around, just as we can turn our lives around. And so I want to finish this week of what did Jesus tell you to do? And tell you it's really, 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 really simple. Love others as God has loved you. You get that one down, and you'll move to the head of the class. Well, think about it. You got a whole weekend. Maybe you can find someone to love that you haven't done it before in some real tangible way. Thanks so much for listening. I'll be back on Monday. Hope you have a really, really, really great day and weekend. If you have a need or a concern, let us know, and we'll get on it just as fast as we can and do everything that we know how to help meet your need. God bless you. I'll talk to you again.